Good evening, you're watching Insight. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Our big focus on the show today, the mother of all blockbusters and highly awaited film of the year, Baahubali 2 is up for release tomorrow. Director Rajamouli's magnum opus, Baahubali 2, The Conclusion, will hit theatres on the 28th of April. Fans are awaiting the film's release with bated breath. Baahubali 2 is expected to air in an enormous number of screens, 9,000 if we are precise, worldwide. That'll be a record in itself. Yes, fans are thronging theatres for pre-booking as everyone wants to know as to why Kattappa killed Baahubali. Well, that of course is the big question. Let's get you the report and then we'll open it up for debate.
Director Rajamouli's magnum opus Baahubali 2 will finally hit the theatres tomorrow with a big bang.
मान और प्राण की रक्षा करूंगा.
Excited for this movie because it is having something new to see as a imagination, because it's just for the imagination story, but it's having such a great concept to see.
Definitely the movie will be hit. Definitely it will be hit.
Bollywood in India, Hollywood in world. World record movie is the Baahubali 2.
It has been the much-awaited film of the year 2017. And fans want to leave no stone unturned to grab tickets of the year's blockbuster.
We are at one of the theatres in East Bengaluru, wherein a special show has been organized at 7 in the morning, called as Fan Show at 7, or 70% of these tickets are already sold. In fact, this theatre started selling tickets from yesterday, and now they left with only a few tickets to spare with.
From Delhi to Chennai, Baahubali 2 has caught everyone in a frenzy.
The movie is set to be released at 9,000 screens worldwide, including 6,500 screens in India. If industry experts are to be believed, the movie may make more than 100 crores on its opening day itself.
Baahubali 2 is set to break records. And this time, it's on.
We are also almost full. Only the change is that we have not increased the rate. We have kept Baahubali 2 in mind. We have kept our people, our masses in mind by keeping same rate which we are having for other films.
While the film has been produced at a mega budget of rupees 200 crores, the filmmakers are hopeful that it will have the Midas touch.
राजमाता शिवगामी देवी को साक्षी मानकर मैं ये शपथ लेता हूँ.
Baahubali 2 fever has not spared Tamil Nadu also. In Tamil Nadu alone, releasing more than 500 screens, the tickets are almost sold for the weekend. Now people are expecting a full paisa vasool from Baahubali 2.
The nation will now finally know as to why Kattappa killed Baahubali. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Let's open this up now. Lata Srinivasan, senior journalist, joining us live from our Chennai studio. Also with us is M. Pratap K. Pothan, who's an actor and director from Chennai. He's also joining us live. Film critic and author Bharti Pradhan also joins us this evening from Mumbai. Thank you, Bharti, for being live with us as well. Well, let's open this up. I want to start out with you, Lata Srinivasan. Why do you feel Kattappa killed Baahubali? Or do you feel we'll finally get an answer to that much-awaited question tomorrow in the big screen?
I definitely think we're going to find out the answer tomorrow when the film hits screens. And this is one of the biggest questions. This is the answer that everybody has been waiting for. And Rajamouli has created such a brilliant film that this is the burning question on everyone's mind.
That's what I want to ask you, Mr. Srinivasan.
Why
It is the
did
question of the
Kattappa
decade.
kill Baahubali? But it is absolutely the question of the decade, and this is what, entire nation wants to know, as well as the global population, I think.
Absolutely. Well, Bharti Pradhan, if I can ask you that same very question, do you feel we'll finally get an answer tomorrow as to why did Kattappa kill Baahubali? Is that the question of the decade according to you as well? Audiences have been waiting these 2 years for an answer, and Mr. Rajamouli and the team have promised that somewhere in the film we'll get that answer.
You know, it's a question until the film is released, because I think after that there'll be a lot more that the film will be telling us. This is just a catchline that has, kind of everybody's caught on to it. But I really think it's much more than just why did Kattappa kill Baahubali.
Do you feel then, Bharti Pradhan, that it's a coming of age for the southern film industry? Of course, the film has been dubbed in a variety of languages, but primarily the star cast, the film's unit, and of course the director are from the southern film industry. Of course, I'll ask that question to Pratap as well in a bit, but Bharti, according to you, is it a coming of age for the southern film industry?
I think it's a coming of age for Indian cinema. I wouldn't just call it South Indian cinema. Of course, it's come from Andhra Pradesh, so it is from the south. But they've got 8,000 screens all over India, and I just think it's an Indian film. I'd like to call it an Indian film and not call it South or North or whatever, because although technically it is from Andhra Pradesh, the Rajamouli is from there, from Hyderabad, but I think it's got this pan-India appeal. And it just kind of showcases the kind of talent we have here, the fact that we are able to put together a film of this scale, it's a fantastic marriage between superior technical skills and a very, very solid, substantial screenplay. So I think it's a very fascinating film. It takes Indian cinema several strides forward.
Pratap, if I can take that question to you, it is an Indian film, says Bharti Pradhan, but do you feel it's a matter of pride for the southern film industry? You have, of course, these interviews going viral across the north as well. The topmost journalists in the north want to fly down to Hyderabad, want to fly down south to interview the film's team. Is it a matter of pride for southern cinema that you are also a part of?
No, I'm not talking about southern cinema and northern cinema. After all, we are one country. But I think it's a great matter of pride for all filmmakers, for the film industry itself, because I think it's not who Kattappa killed, or that's not important. What's important, to this mammoth scale you're able to make a picture is something phenomenal. I'm telling you, the kind of planning that must have gone into it is something unbelievable. And the kind of dedication the actors and the director have shown in this picture, makes it one of a kind. Which other picture was there in the whole of this country which had one come out and the next sequel come out, which is hyped up even more and which so many people are waiting for?
That's true. That's very true. Lata Srinivasan, according to you, what really though
in
is
Kerala
the USP?
alone, it's
Lata,
opening
what's
on
the
300
USP
screens.
of brand Baahubali? What has made it a phenomena amongst Indians all across the country, all across the world, in fact, because it's having one of the biggest worldwide releases for any Indian film. What's really been the USP of brand Baahubali, according to you?
That's right, Uday. Like you said, it's releasing in more than 9,000 screens. I think brand Baahubali, first and foremost, is of course, the director, Mr. SS Rajamouli. He's such a brilliant filmmaker, and the content, the story that he's given us, it's something beyond imagination. And secondly, the technical brilliance that everybody spoke about. That's also amazing to see, the kind of grand visuals and the enormity, the magnitude of the film. And I think these two things together have actually elevated Indian cinema and shown the world what we as Indian filmmakers, or I should say, Indian filmmakers can really do and showcase. And that's what I think it's all about. It's Mr. Rajamouli all the way.
Absolutely, indeed. And in fact, I did speak to Mr. Rajamouli and the entire team of the film. Let's play out an excerpt. Let's play out a quick excerpt of that interview, and then I'll come back to the discussion.
But a lot of questions left, like why Devasena is tied up, why Sivgamini died, why Kattappa killed Baahubali, and so many other questions left. So I think it's very interesting for them to go and watch. in part 2.
You know, it's got a lot of uniqueness for a film made in the Indian film industry, you know, in terms of the budget, in terms of the action, the sheer scale, but also in what, you know, Prabhas was just saying, that it's left a lot of questions. You've not seen that before. Films with 2 parts, which have actually left a lot of questions in the first one to be answered in the second.
See, one is, this is not a traditional sequel in that sense. It's still the same story that you're telling.
Yeah.
It's a very large story. It's not, and usually a sequel is an afterthought after a great film does well. I mean, at most times. But this was made as 2 films because it's a big, very, very big story to tell, and so which is why there's obviously, like Prabhas said, adding to that, there's a lot of questions you have when you get up from the beginning of this film, and here you go. The conclusion has all those answers, and I can assure you that they're pretty damn on dot and entertaining.
Exactly. Well, but I have to ask you, Mr. Rajamouli, and of course you've got asked this question several times before. Did you always plan it this way from the word go, that you wanted to have 2 films, you wanted to have 2 you know, different paths answering the questions of the first one, a continuation, not necessarily planned after probably the script was final or you started shooting it and you figured that it would be a much longer film than 3 hours?
No, the initial idea was to make 1 film only when we started, but as the story started building up, as the characters started coming in, as the drama between the characters started increasing, we could clearly see that we couldn't fit it into 1 film. The story is going to be much more than 4.5 hours or something like that. And we even tried to cut down on the characters, cut down on the emotions and cut down on the scenes and bring it into one film. We could see it was not working. Then we made a decision that that will make it into 2 parts. So, but that was made much before we started shooting.
It was during the scripting stage?
Yes, during the scripting.
Okay, so the film's team there, Prabhas, Rana Daggubati and SS Rajamouli, of course, giving us a bit of an insight into the backdrop of Baahubali 2, building up the anticipation, of course, further there. Bharti Pradhan, you know, there are a lot of unique points, of course, about this film. As Prabhas there was saying, there are a lot of questions that will also be answered in the second movie. That's another unique point. We don't really see that in sequels or trilogies earlier. Normally, it's just a continuation of a story which has already ended in the first part. But do you also feel, Bharti, that we could see more epic films along the lines of Hollywood's Lord of the Rings, 300? There are plans of a big Mahabharat, we believe, which could see light of day in a couple of years from now. We're hearing that there's a UAE financier who wants to get Mohanlal on the project. Some more details, of course, he shared with us. But do you feel this could be the coming of age of epic films as well in the country?
I think everybody was just waiting for that one big film to come and tell them that, look, we can do it and we can succeed, we can make big money on it. So Baahubali is that trendsetter. However, I really would think that it would all depend on how sincere, because I think the Baahubali team has been fantastically sincere to their work. Because I have been told from behind the scenes where every little detail was sketched, the storyboard was perfect before they even started shooting. They had every little thing, because you see when it involves special effects and computer graphics, you have to be very specific about how you're shooting. They had everything down pat on paper. And if that kind of sincerity and detailing can go into future projects, I guess we are in for very, very good cinema and we'll see big ones in the near future. However, I think it's very difficult because this cost them so for 450 crore rupees, both the Bahubalis together. And that's huge money in India. If you're going to spend that kind of money, you've got to have screenplays and you've got to have technical skills that can match up to that kind of budget. And Rajamouli and his father, Vijendra Prasad, who wrote the screenplay and story, they were a fantastic team. I just hope anybody who does Mahabharat or any other film in Hindi or in any other language
Pratap,
can
if I
really
can come
match
to
up
you,
that kind of
no, Bharti, that's a valid point you're making. Pratap, if I can come to you as an actor, you can tell us how difficult it is doing a film like this. You know, we've spoken, of course, about Rajamouli's prowess, about his vision, etc. But even for the actors, you know, Prabhas, Rana Daggubati getting on the pounds, of course, building up muscle, mouthing these dialogues, doing these strenuous action scenes, not easy, Pratap.
Yeah, it's not easy at all and takes total dedication, you know. I was talking to Satyaraj, you know, And he's the kind that was so dedicated to this film. And it's not easy. It's not easy to be on one thing for such a long time, you know. And they gave their lives for it. And again, I tell you, will you see more films like this? Yes, you will if they can plan like this. But very few here plan like this. Very few here have the capacity to see and to think big. Because thinking big means also a lot of, you know, like she was saying, that you need a lot of paperwork, you need a lot of stuff in it, you know. It's not easy.
Absolutely. It's not easy at all.
So
you mentioned Satyaraj,
have to
of course.
have people who are totally dedicated.
Yeah, you mentioned Satyaraj. I'll of course draw a quick attention to that controversy as well, which we saw play out. Lata, do you feel that was just, you know, it was just something that was coming because it was a big film? You know, we see this in India. When there's a big release, there's bound to be controversy, be it from a fringe group who files a, you know, PIL in court, be it from, you know, someone who wants to come out with a malicious point of view about an actor who's in the film, or be it, you know, a group of activists who suddenly woke up and decided, oh, we don't like what Satyaraj said on the Kaveri Rao, let's stall the entire film.
You know, that's actually a very unfortunate situation, because whatever comments Satyaraj sir had, you know, Mr. Satyaraj had made, it was more than 9 years ago, and it wasn't relevant at all in today's situation or case. And Mr. Satyaraj is just, you know, part of the cast of Baahubali, and holding him accountable for what he said 9 years ago, and, you know, arm twisting the filmmakers at this point in time, I think it's very unfortunate and quite unfair, to say the least. And many groups in recent times, if you've seen, you know, have come forward to say that, you know, they won't allow films to release because of certain statements. And these are personal statements which have been made by celebrities. And that's a very unfortunate situation we're seeing in India today.
Absolutely. In fact, I'll also play out for our viewers what the film's team had to say about this entire controversy and whether sometimes actors and film stars become soft target. But let's take a quick break. Buzz of Baahubali continues. Tomorrow, of course, is the big release date that the fans have been waiting for, the 28th of April. We were talking, though, about a very interesting issue before the break about how sometimes actors become soft targets. Lata Srinivasan and Pratap Uthan, of course, told us their views. Listening to what the film's team had to say on this topic to me when I interviewed them.
On this story that we're hearing from Karnataka, what would you really like to say about these Kannada organizations? Because you made a film for all of India, all over the world. And when you hear a report from Karnataka that says, we don't want the movie screened there because of these comments made by Satyaraj, what do you really
Yeah, it is quite sad, because we are in no way related to his opinions. The opinion Mr. Satyaraj has made was some 9 years back. And in this 9 years, 30 of his films released in Karnataka. Bahubali Part 1 released, and I believe even now one film is running of Satyaraj is running in Bangalore, yes. See, basically that's a very, very sensitive issue. Kaveri issue is a very, very sensitive issue. And for us, it's a very delicate matter, because we don't know whether we should comment on it, whether our comment will further antagonize the issue, or will it calm down? We are in a very delicate issue, a delicate state, and we are no way concerned with this. And showing the anger on Satyaraj on the film is not going to affect Mr. Satyaraj. No, he's not the director, he's not the producer, he's not the hero. He took the remuneration for the film, and he's left, he's done with it. So I don't know how it is going to, the anger on, showing the anger on Baahubali is going to solve the issue. So,
you know, you are successful actors. Do you think you were smiling as well when you're hearing this story? Do you think sometimes actors just become soft targets for controversies when people don't really, you know, research or know much about it?
It's obviously it's a medium that's out there in the public. It's you, and that's the fastest thing one can point on. But like Sir said, it is a very sensitive issue, and in no way an actor's, I could say something, but that does not have to reflect on Baahubali the film, because that's a personal opinion of a certain person. So I guess that's how it has to be taken and move forward.
Okay, that of course was the view of the film's team. Before we end with a closing comment from Lata and Pratap, I quickly want to ask Bharti Pradhan, according to you, Bharti, what has actually led to the brand hysteria of Baahubali? Of course, controversy follows whenever there's a big brand, a big entity in India. It's just become only too common, unfortunately, these days. But according to you, what really created the brand hysteria, very quickly, of Baahubali?
The scale, the grandeur, and I would also think the fact that they could combine storytelling skills with that kind of visual spectacle. It's really the combination of these two factors that has caught the fancy of the public.
Okay, we'll let Lata have the last word, but Pratap, very quickly, do you hope for more such films, more such epics, more grandeur in the future that as Indians we can be proud of, as Indians we can feel it competes with anywhere in Hollywood, any big film?
Yeah, but it's not easy to make a picture like Baahubali, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
It takes years of planning, and how many people are here, really here, now we are shooting on digital and anyone can do. Every guy is a filmmaker, you know. So, to make a film like Baahubali, no. It takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of guts. And congratulations to Rajamouli, and I'm sure it's going to be a whopping success.
Okay, sure, it's going to be a whopping success. Last word to you, Lata Srinivasan, if you can quickly sum it up for us. Brand Baahubali, according to you, do you feel it would lead to more such films coming out in the future, more filmmakers taking the time, the effort that is required for these epics? Because remember, it may just be a 3-hour movie spectacle at theatres, but there's been a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, a lot of planning and research that's gone into it. So not every filmmaker has the time and actor has the energy, to do this.
Absolutely right, Uday. But then I think what Baahubali and Mr. Rajamouli have shown us is that it is possible to make a film of such magnitude and to make it a brilliant success. And I think it's paved the way for more such films in the future. Though there may be few, there are definitely going to be more in the years to come.
Okay, we hope for that, certainly. And today, while we are of course talking about getting the answers to a lot of questions tomorrow, including why Kattappa killed Baahubali, I'm sure tomorrow night we'll have to have a new debate on whether we agree with the reason that Mr. Rajamouli has given in the film or not. That's the beauty, of course, of art. Everyone has their own opinion on it. We leave it at that. Lata Srinivasan, Pratap Uttan and Bharti Pradhan, thank you for joining me on Insight this evening.